is going on, my chemical industry family, partners, and friends? Welcome back to the Smart Acid Podcast, where we continue to let borons be borons. Today's show is brought to us by Univar Solutions, which offers the reliability that delivers, no matter if your chemistry grows, flows, or knows. Univar Solutions is a valued partner you need to help bring the right product to the right solution at the right time. So go to your univarsolutions.com today and find your right solution. This is the Andy Erickson, the storied host of the Smart Acid Podcast, and I'm here with the Ren to my Stimpy. It's the Heartbreaker, Chris Ernst. Heartbreaker, my man, how you holding up?
I'm great, Andy. You?
I'm doing okay. A little chilly outside, but I'm doing okay.
Just a bit.
Well, we have a great guy in the studio with us today. It's our very own Georgie Porgy Puddin' and Pie. He apparently kissed the girls and made them cry, and when the girls came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away. He also goes by George W. Knox III. George, welcome to the show. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. That was quite the intro. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, before we get into business and who you are and what you do here, we usually play a game with the peeps, and 5 questions. It's a quiz. It's really, this one's about, do you know your Georges? So it's famous Georges. You want to play?
I'm game. Let's go.
Number 1 out of the gate. Which George was the lead guitarist for the Beatles and wrote the hit song "Here Comes the Sun"?
Oh, this is one of my favorite, George Harrison. Yeah.
You want to know a little fun fact about him?
What's that?
He was only 14 when he auditioned with John Lennon.
Oh, very cool.
Wow, I would not have guessed that.
I learned it from the internet.
Full of knowledge, this one.
Yes, he is. All right, George, you ready? Question number 2. Which George wrote 1984 and Animal Farm?
Oh, that's a good one.
Don't read, do you?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a lifeline of multiple choice. You ready? A, George Eliot. B, George Harrison. C, George Carlin. Or D, George Orwell.
George Orwell?
That's it. Well done. Yep.
You want to know a little fun fact about George Orwell?
Here he goes. He's full of knowledge. I love it. Hit me with it.
That was his pen name, because his real name was Eric Arthur Blair. So he wasn't even really a George.
Got a traitor in the mix.
I'm not sure that means he missed that question then.
Yeah, there you go.
George.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Well, all right. Number 3. Which American composer is famous for the orchestral work Rhapsody in Blue? Is it George Bizet, George Gershwin, George Frederick Handel, George Michael?
George Gershwin?
Oh, man. Solid. 3 for 3.
Well done.
All right. Well, hey, listen, my luck's going today. I like it.
He wrote this piece in just a few weeks, and he did it all on the train.
What train?
Just a train.
Efficient use of time. Yeah.
All right, George, here we go. Question 4. Which British monarch's struggles with a stammer was famously depicted in the film The King's Speech? Was it A, George III, B, George IV, C, George V, or D, George VI?
Great question. George III was the Revolutionary War, so I would assume it's the 5th.
What if it wasn't the 5th, and it wasn't the 3rd or the 4th?
I reserve the right to be wrong.
Andy, a fun fact on George VI, which was the answer, George.
Yeah. Fun fact is that as a child, he was pressured from being left-handed to right-handed, and many people believe that caused a lot of the stammer.
Oh, wow.
Don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, that's crazy.
Very cool fact. Yeah.
All right. Number 5 and final question. Which iconic pop singer rose to fame as a member of the duo Wham before a successful solo career? Do you need me to give you hints?
George Michael?
Solid. Oh. Correct. And don't have a fun fact about George Michael, but what is George Michael's best hit of all times? I know mine.
dating me now. I couldn't call one off the. That's not my genre, Andy. Sorry.
Does it have to be just George Michael, or can it be a Wham song?
That could be a Wham song. I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
I don't know. I'm gonna go Careless Whisper.
Oh. Freedom 90, hands down. Hands down. Comes on the radio and it is windows down, loud, and me just singing. It's fantastic. And the video is pretty cool too. But anyway,
It's quite a visual.
You're welcome. You're welcome from that. The T-tops are off of the, anyway. George, let's get into business now. Talk to us a little bit about your history, your curriculum vitae, and how do you fit into this chemical distribution space we call Univar Solutions?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunities. I've been with Univar Solutions 13 years now. It's one of those circumstances where every time I say it, I'm like, man, I blink and that flew by. I actually started as a seller in the Charlotte, North Carolina market. I did that for a couple of years and had an opportunity to take a sales manager role in the Virginia, North Carolina market, and then progressed up north to have a general manager role for about 8 years. I like to say two things. One, I'm good at sales because I convinced my wife to move up north from South Carolina. And two, I'm a good relationship builder because I haven't incurred a divorce yet. And then most recently, last year, I actually took the role of global vice president for corporate accounts, which has been really fun and certainly, a great opportunity just to see the size and scale of Univar Solutions and all the brevity of customers that we have. So it's been quite the adventure.
Awesome. Fantastic. So George, I think most of us would say 25 was a bit of a wild ride in our business and market. So you moved into a new role, you're dealing with a bunch of new customers. Give us your view on the market 25 as we roll into 26 now, from maybe you and what your customers are telling you about what's going on.
Yeah. So I actually assumed the role in about March of last year. So right as the time of everybody was facing, changes in regulatory environment, certainly tariff was the word of the month, if you want to call it that. And the only thing that was consistent about a lot of 25 was inconsistency, right? Uncertainty was out there. Everybody was scrambling to try to understand where risk was, certainly trying to quantify, where the impact was to their business, looking at, supply chain mapping and certainly exposure points. And it was a challenging environment. It was a great environment to learn corporate accounts and certainly start to learn customers, create some, real-time, stakeholder relationships in an environment where you had to cultivate trust very quickly and start to get to the heart and peel the fat off circumstances so you could really make an impact swiftly. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was a wild ride, and certainly as we enter 26, I think there were a lot of lessons learned. But I think the macro view was, everybody was scrounging for market intelligence and information, and fortunately, we were able to hit the ground running and empower customers with a lot of that right out of the gates.
Thanks, George. So break it down a little bit more. Like you're talking about these type of accounts, large chemical consumers. What challenges do they face?
Yeah, and again, when you're talking about corporate accounts, you're generally talking about very large, very complex organizations that oftentimes span global, if not, continent or entire countries, with multiple facilities. So their challenges are varying and diverse. But the consistent thing as we think about 25 was, certainly bringing a macro global perspective down to that local interface and trying to have harmonization around, interface, sales representation, the programs and value drivers that we're hitting on across the board so that we're consistent in the way we're delivering value and they're actually receiving that measurement. One of the things that we like to accolade ourselves in the corporate account program is we can tailor a lot of those programs to the individual needs of these corporate accounts, whether it be specific KPIs, functions, or initiatives, because what's invaluable to those customers are actually valuable to us, to kind of seeking those points of success for both sides. And I would say 25 was a good example where we had a variety of different ways that we had to find success. But through that collaboration and certainly adjusting and tailoring each of those programs, we were able to find, growth in a very, very challenging market.
Thanks, George, for talking a little bit about the challenges. We know the current space, there is a lot of supply available. We know demand's rather sluggish. How are these large corporate accounts facing these challenges?
It's a great question. Again, if we've learned anything from the past few years, supply chains can change on a dime, right? And now more than ever, we're talking more about supply chain redundancy. And we're talking about where we can leverage our global producer partner relationships down to each regional geography and supply a differentiated value in the form of multiple supply options or supply chain solutions to customers that really want to have confidence that when something does change, that they are insulated and they've got security of supply in a macro and geopolitical environment that is anything but certain. So we're having a lot of conversations around how can we help give you redundancy? How can we plan for the what ifs? And certainly, adding that a component to what is already a comprehensive portfolio.
Thank you, George. Building on that, what trends are you seeing?
Just like the macroeconomic environment, trends are moving at a fast pace as well. I think we're all aware of, certainly growth in GLP-1 medications. Everybody's seeing data centers explode all over the world, and certainly the chemical needs and waste disposal needs relative to those facilities. But some of the other areas where we're really helping customers find solutions both in a supply chain, but also a technical factor, certainly infrastructure applications. So things like, new and innovative concrete for, global infrastructure, think bridges and roads and all kinds of buildings. Certainly insulation is another hotbed area where, whether it be changes in regulatory or folks wanting to remodel a home or new construction trying to be more energy efficient. There's some really great technologies and solutions that we're providing to customers in a burgeoning and growing marketplace that will continue to be a factor as we walk forward. And then finally, one of the things that we're continuing to always expand our breadth of portfolio and access is around paints and coatings. So again, whether it be the refinish side of the business or aerospace and marine, there's a bevy of different technologies out there that we're able to deploy our solution centers and our technical sales staff to really unlock new potentials, new applications, and new technologies to aid customers and help them stay ahead of the curve while providing those supply chain solutions that we've historically been known for.
Awesome. Thank you, George. So you kind of hit on this. I think Andy just called them large, mature customers. Your title says corporate accounts. Give us a little bit of an understanding, maybe like framework characteristics of, what do those customers do that would make them a corporate account?
Yeah. So I spoke earlier about, size and complexity. And again, from a size standpoint, generally, if you're operating an organization that spans, multiple countries, maybe a continent or even a specific country with 15, 20, 25 or more individual ship tos, production sites, or partnership scenarios. When I talk about complexity, it's really in the vein of SKU per ship to. So we're talking about ship tos that have dozens, if not hundreds of different SKUs that they're procuring across their variety of production needs. So one of the values that we bring is certainly being able to step into these organizations, determine the needs, certainly kind of fit that program across those varying sites and different regions and globally, and present the same sales process and certainly value drivers across the board with a simplified account representation program where we take their complexity and make ease of doing business that much better by being able to satisfy the multiple stakeholders on a unified strategy, and certainly having the local DCAM or sales account managers at each individual site to make sure that those local needs and service requirements are harmonized across the board.
So to think of a little bit about George, talk a little bit more about it. So how do they look at Univar? How do they measure or metric Univar and helping them solve some of the challenges?
when I think about our value props, right, it's taking that global scale and bringing it down to a local interface. So first and foremost, it's really around on time delivery, making sure that we're on time and in full, and then scaling that API across the varying complexities of SKUs and ship tos not only in a specific region but obviously on a global standpoint. With that comes certain requirements where we may have initiatives relative to cost savings. We may have some initiatives relative to consolidation or trying to reduce tail spend at a customer site and driving more efficiencies with customers. So again, that may vary depending on the goal and objective of that customer relationship. But the output is we're happy to accommodate value where we can. And because of our bespoke programs, we can actually kind of tailor that approach to fit the need and requirement or drive the efficiencies that our customers are looking for. So that could be as easy as looking at a tranche of opportunities and focusing on cost reduction or supply chain simplification, or as complex as looking into scope specific product families and reduce their carbon offset as a part of an ESG or sustainability play that the organization is trying to achieve, or whatever other KPIs out there. So again, we really like to listen to our customers and understand what their challenges are and where they see opportunity, and how do we start to fit that value into those opportunities and do it in a way where we're finding those success points together.
Thank you, George. So maybe building on your last answer there, you mentioned sustainability, and that's certainly a topic that I think our industry has been tackling for many years. We're fast approaching 2030 goals, which was a key marker for a lot of larger customers, including ourselves. And how do you see our customers kind of handling sustainability as it sits today? It's continuously evolving, and just wondering how, what their perception is of it and how they're progressing.
Yeah, it's exactly like the challenges we talked about through 25. We have to evolve at the pace of our customers around sustainability. As such, it continues to be an area where we have to expand how we're looking at our offerings and our capabilities. One of the things that we've really focused on as we walk forward into 26 is really focusing on the life cycle of the product. So again, historically, corporate accounts is really focused on the chemical side of offerings to our customers, but we have capabilities outside that certainly can help customers that we haven't done a good job introducing to the total value relationship into those accounts. So things like our ChemCare side, where while we're making deliveries, we might have the opportunity to pick up waste and either dispose of it or find reuse points for that company to actually have some sustainability goals and actually start to mark progress in that realm if they need it. We also have some opportunities with a company we call Copac. So they do some custom manufacturing. With that, there's opportunities to start to deploy maybe some toll blending or some external manufacturing in different geographies to, again, reduce that carbon offset, reduce kind of the supply chain complexity, drive some value, and our customers get to focus on a better ROI on their own labor and their own production while we're satisfying other components of their process, downstream in a more carbon efficient manner. So again, what we're trying to do as we walk forward is really try to capture that total scale and life cycle solution rather than try to tackle these things, piecemeal and present kind of that entire gambit of what Univar Solutions can provide. And again, as we walk forward, we're going to have to evolve those capabilities along with the marketplace, but we're doing it in a way where we're responding to customer needs and certainly finding those value points.
George, is this only available? So those types of solutions, are those opportunities only available to corporate accounts here at Univar, or is that open across the board?
Yeah, the great thing about these capabilities are they're live within the Univar network today, and certainly those opportunities present themselves wherever that customer is in our segmentation today.
Awesome. So George, bring us home here. Give us one takeaway you'd like our listeners to have from this conversation.
Yeah, it's a great question, Chris. If I were a customer in today's environment, I would really be asking, how can I find a partner to ease the headwinds that I think that I'm going to experience in 26. And that can come in a variety of different ways. These customers are huge. They've got global, complex supply chains, and certainly everyone's got finite resources. And one of the things that I think Univar Solutions corporate account team can deliver is simplifying and bringing bespoke, tailored solutions to those challenges and really allowing those teams to focus their bandwidth and their effort on more value added areas of their business. Again, fully customizable approach, certainly where we can insert capabilities, talk about solutions that maybe we've never even explored and start to find that success together. And I think, as we approach challenges and more uncertainty of 26, customers want that listening ear of where can we find those areas to work together where we haven't before for mutual benefit, and then redeploy that focus on areas of their business that are more beneficial to them long term.
All right, chemical industry, family, partners, and friends. That's a wrap. We made it to another end of an episode of the Smart Assets Podcast, brought to you by Univar Solutions. George, thank you again for your time and insight.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Greatly appreciated. Thank you to our listeners, as always, for joining us and spending time with us. We appreciate it. As a reminder, you can find us on YouTube channel and podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please go find us, listen, subscribe, follow, all of those things. Until the next time, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy.